Time for a brand new edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. You never know when we might be coming at you. We're going to get things more consistent when the season is over. Stacey's been kind enough to come in after he flew back from Orlando after the latest loss for the Bulls, losing to the Magic. The Magic are a team nobody's talking about. They're pretty damn good.
Yeah, the problem they're going to run into, they don't shoot the three ball very well, but they do a lot of things well with their length. They got good quality depth at the point guard position. They can switch everything. Franz Wagner is the star. Banchero's the star. They just got Mosley's got these guys believing that they can go deep in the playoffs. They have a chance to move up to number 2. A couple of wins here and there, they can move up to 2. I don't think they'll reach 2. I think they'll be somewhere between 3 and 5. But that's a good place for them, especially coming from where they came from the last 2 years, where they were getting their butts kicked every night, and now it's paid off.
You know what? I think they're going to get to, because right now the Bucks are circling the drain. They've lost 4 in a row. Last week they lost to the Wizards, the Raptors, and the Grizzlies. And then they blew an 11-point lead against Tibbs and the Knicks last night. They've lost 4 in a row. They're only 1 up on the Magic and the Knicks, and they got to play the Magic twice.
They might be losing on purpose, to be honest with you. Because,
no.
Yeah, they might be losing on purpose, man, because I'm not saying they're point shaving. They're not looking. I'm not saying they're point shaving, but I'm saying they could be trying to lose on purpose, because if they're a top 2 seed and the way things look right now, the way the standings are, you would possibly be playing Philadelphia and Miami in the first rounds.
Right.
Okay. And we knew how that turned out for them last year with Gimme and Miami beating them in the first round. They may be trying to drop down to 3 to avoid having to play
Indiana, maybe.
Well, they like their chances against. They like their chance against anybody else, I think, other than those 2 teams. I think they believe that those 2 teams are the ones that can give them the most problems. So they're probably not. They probably are trying to win, but they're not. They're probably sitting back. Doc Rivers, okay, good. Okay, 1 more loss. We're down to 3. Orlando can have this 2 spot, and we avoid a first round game against whoever comes out of the playing game.
Yeah, but they're 15 and 17 since Doc took over, and their defense has fallen back into the shitter again. I watched the game against the Knicks last night. They were horrible in that game.
That's what you can't make. You can't make those kind of decisions, rash decisions, when your team was playing well.
Yeah, they kicked Adrian Griffin out the door and never gave him a chance.
Yeah, you never gave him a chance. But when he got kicked out, his team was right up there with Boston as 1 and 2. Okay, they had a good record at home. They were like 17 and 2 at home. They only lost like probably 4 games on the road. And the reason why they got rid of Adrian Griffin wasn't because he was inexperienced. I mean, this guy's been assistant coach for 20 years.
Yeah.
The reason why was because Giannis didn't want him. And this is the one thing I was talking about this the other day. The one thing that really frightens me, because I've always loved Giannis' game. Always loved him as a player. He just seemed like one of those 90s players. And then all of a sudden now he's kind of gotten to Hollywood. And this is what I feared, that he would turn into some of these other guys.
Yeah, and he has.
Where they're making demands, and if you don't do this, I'm not going to be here, and you go get this player, or I'm not going to sign a contract. And I saw that, and I was just like, oh, man, I thought this is going to be the one guy that stayed true to who he was when he came here. And it kind of, success has kind of gotten to his head. Now he's doing, he wants to be a power player. He wants to be LeBron. He wants to be these guys that control their franchises.
We'll see the trade request this summer. You watch.
Oh yeah. If they don't win, I wouldn't be surprised if Dame Lillard doesn't ask to be traded. Like, I can't play with this guy. I mean, trade me to Miami.
Yeah.
So it would be a surprise to me if that happens again. And also Adrian Griffin wanted to get rid of his brother because they felt like they could get another big wing, another power forward player, something of need that they need on their bench. And that really supposedly ticked Giannis off. He's not going anywhere. Did you not see the movie that we started? How we got chased around in all these houses trying to get over to the United States? We're not going anywhere, buddy. They're staying here.
Whispers, how you doing when you get a chance to say hello? What's going on in your life?
Nothing.
You're going to Europe in a few days.
Yeah, Saturday night. It's always great when you fly to Europe. You get to leave at night and then arrive the next afternoon.
Now, where are you going?
Denmark.
Oh.
And Sweden.
Sweet.
Have some Swedish pancakes. I'm looking forward to that. They're legit over there.
Nothing like some pancakes.
That's right.
Is that code for something or what?
Code.
It is for
It's
Stacey.
code. It's code.
Flapjacks is
Nothing
another
like,
term. he uses.
nothing like a good pair of cakes. You know what I mean?
And your wife's not accompanying you on this business trip?
No, I'm looking for a new one when I'm over there.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, honey, you didn't hear that.
It's a good thing she does listen to the show, right?
I know she doesn't. So I'm good.
She listened to it today, though, and you found out a bag packed outside the front door.
You can leave forever.
Yeah.
His clothes will be strewn on the front lawn.
Yeah. So the bad news was it's a Monday, Mark.
Yeah.
We have no beer. We have no
Yeah.
cider.
Yeah,
Nothing.
it's NCAA championship game today.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to watching the game, having some food and some drinks.
I
And
thought-
we only got
I know,
D
we
here
got
by
one
himself,
guy,
so we
otherwise
can't
I
even
could
send somebody out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible. Rich
Yeah.
left early.
Call
Yeah.
Pavel. Tell him to come back with some
we gotta get
vodka or
somebody.
something. You know?
Yeah,
You know what?
somebody.
They can do an
man,
Uber
this is-
delivery.
Yeah, this is inappropriate. Like, there's nothing to drink here.
We have high
feel-
tech tools though.
I feel like I'm in a desert. There's nothing to drink. Come on, man.
I don't. Mark, they're pouring water.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
drinking water out of the tap in
Yeah,
Peloton.
yeah,
I could die
exactly.
from
What
that.
happened
Yeah.
to this show?
Yeah, oh my God.
My
We're being rock
goodness.
bottom, man.
Oh,
Rock
Jeez.
bottom America.
We don't even have all the bottles of hot sauce out.
Yeah,
I mean, what's going on?
The show right now today. It's not meant to be on Mondays, man.
This is the economy edition.
I mean, we got D over there giving people days off, and they didn't even run it through the crew. Just say, hey man, Cisco's out at his sister's birthday party, which we want to say shout out to Frisco and his sister.
Yeah.
His birthday. Happy birthday.
So
Well,
Cisco get a swing at the pinata or not?
It's one thing to have a podcast on a Monday, but who has a birthday party on a Monday?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the eclipse.
Hey,
I don't
your
know.
birthday falls on that day. You know, every
You know who
7
else's
years.
birthday it is?
Whose?
It's Rich's and Pavel's.
The same. It's same day.
Yeah, so it's
Oh,
today.
wow.
Yeah.
How are they celebrating?
Probably I was
Pavel-
getting some beer that
Pavel
we don't
said-
have.
Pavel took today off because he was doing a Russian birthday party last night, which means
He was
he
drinking.
just basically said he's going to have alcohol poisoning today, and
Yeah.
Oh,
just stay
my
home.
Yeah,
goodness.
but he's got a cast iron stomach though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he took some hot sauce with him.
Okay.
And you can tell D's been overworked. We're looking at the rundown here. The Bulls. His first note was inconstancy. Does that mean they have a problem going to the bathroom? What are we talking about here?
Oh,
There
Inconstancy.
was a typo. It meant to say inconsistent
Okay.
because they've been inconsistent recently.
Okay.
Well,
Very much so.
Well, we were worried if they're incontinent, then we'd
Yeah,
have
yeah,
all
yeah.
kinds
My
of
bad.
other
That's
issues.
on me. That's on me.
What
Well, if
kind
your
of
bowels are
man?
inconsistent, that is incontinence.
Wow.
It was done on the train. It was fast.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This dedication though. Do it on the train, brother.
No, we appreciate the effort.
Yes. Yeah. This.
But
is,
that inconstancy is there,
Yeah,
Stacey.
in-
We've noticed that.
inconstancy. You know what, Mark?
I know. What are you going to say?
You know, I'm just.
You're not
I'm just-
playing. You're not the coach.
I'm
You're
just
just the
sick
man.
and tired of it, man. I'm you know when you're on a pirate ship and they make you walk out on the plank.
I haven't
Yeah, listen.
experienced that.
Okay, they're not making me walk on a plank. I'm running and jumping off. Okay, you ain't got to stick me in the back with a sword. You ain't got to tell me to take one step at a time. I'm just jumping off the plank. I get so frustrated with this team because they come out and play a near perfect game against the Knicks and looked really good. Defense, the focus was there. Just a really good game. And then you come back and then you kind of lay an egg in the first half. You get out hustled for some loose balls, and then you get yourself all the way back in the game, and then you fall apart again. You know,
Mhm.
Billy's got to, listen, I love Billy. I love Billy. But Billy's too nice. Billy's got to start holding these guys accountable. When they're not ready to play, you got to sit them down. Last night was an opportunity. I thought Drummond should have been in the game more, especially when we're not getting rebounds and we're not stopping people from going to the basket. There's one play in particular that we used on the telestrator. And we use the telestrator for good plays. We use the telestrator for bad plays. So it's not like we just pick things out. And there was a play where Vooch was standing. His man was in the corner, which is Wendell Carter Jr. was in the corner. And he was standing 1 foot out the paint. And then Franz Wagner drove to the basket against a smaller Io. And Vooch just basically stood there, didn't slide one step over to stop the dribble, to make him kick the ball to the corner, to allow that shot, which is less likely to go in from Wendell Carter than a layup from Franz Wagner. Just let him go to the basket. No effort. And that's frustrating because if I'm on his team and I'm like, yo, man, like, where's the team defense? Like, you got to help out. If I'm going to help you out, you got to help me out. You can't just sit back there and go, oh, I'm not going to move. a small radius of like you drew a circle. Vooch sometimes doesn't get out of that circle. If that ball doesn't come in, he's not going to go get it. But if you're one of the leaders on this team, you got to show up every night. You got to show you're getting paid a lot of money to show up and play. And I will say this about DeMar. DeMar shows up every night. He's not the best defensive player, but he gives you effort defensively. He gets steals, he gets block shots, he'll rebound the basketball, and then fourth quarter comes around. I mean, he's killing. I mean, he's putting up points. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and other guys like Vooch and those guys have to step up and help. You're veteran players. If you said to me that this team had 3 All-Stars, former All-Stars on the team, and not knowing who they are, and I said we had 3 All-Stars, you told me I had 3 All-Stars, I would expect you guys at least win 42 games. 42 games, okay? You probably should win more than that, but I'm just saying blindly 42 games for 3 All-Star caliber players. This team's not doing that.
Right.
They're not doing that because there's not a commitment to defense. There's not a commitment to coming out every single night, focused, reading your scouting reports, understanding who you're playing against. If I'm playing, the Indiana Pacers, I know everything about the Pacers, and especially defensively, if I know I'm going to switch on every screen roll, I got to know what everybody. See, if I had to guard one person or 2 people, power forward, I know what the 2 power forwards do. Guy who likes to do a jump hook, two dribbles to the middle, jump hook. The other guy likes to 1 dribble, spin back. I know what they do. But when you switch as much as the Bulls do, that means you have to open up your defensive playbook more. You have to say, okay, I may switch on a guard. So if I switch on, let's say, Halliburton. Halliburton likes to pull up from 30 feet. He likes to lull you to sleep with a dribble, then raise up. I got to know all this stuff compared to if I was just guarding one guy. And I don't think this team really focuses on that. They just say we're going to play everybody the same. And you can't play everybody the same.
We woke up to some surprising news today that John Calipari is leaving Kentucky to go to Arkansas. The thing that was even more surprising here in Chicago is ESPN and several other major outlets are saying that their number 1 candidate to replace Calipari at Kentucky is Billy Donovan. I'd forgotten that Billy Donovan was an assistant at Kentucky when Rick Pitino was there. And, of course, he won the 2 national titles at Florida. We don't know what Billy's contract status is. We know he got an extension. So, the money – he's not going to take a pay cut to go to Kentucky, but Kentucky was paying Calipari $8.5 million a year.
Yeah, Billy's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. Billy can coach. And, college was his jam, and you have much more control, I feel, over the college players than you do the pro players. The pro players make more money than the coach. Some pro players are coddled. Coaches, they coddle these guys and they feel like they don't have control for these guys to tell them do this, do that. If I'm a coach, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm coaching somebody, I'm coaching the way I want to coach, and I'm gonna play the guys who play hard. And if management came down on me and said, "Stacey, you got to play so and so," and you got to fire me because this guy's not here to play. He's not playing hard. What's the objective here? We're here to win. You know what I'm saying? When I was coaching the CBA, the owner wanted me bringing a guy who's a drunk, and I'm like, just because the fans liked him. So I said, why don't you just put a mascot suit on? He can just go out there and dance because he's not going to play for me because the guy's drunk all the time. Comes to practice high, drunk. No, we're trying to win here. So at the end of the day, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out on my shield. You know what I'm saying? So this league is very disappointing some nights when you watch these guys, you watch NBA games. So I watch a lot of NBA games and, the players have way too much power now, where the organizations have kind of taken a step back and allow them to do what they want. LeBron is the one who really started all this, the freedom of being a player, dictating where you're going to go.
The player empowerment era.
Yes. And this is the player empowerment era, and I don't like it. I'm always going to be for the players, but I think when it becomes a detriment to the team, that's a problem.
So Billy will be asked about this tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
He'll deny it. He'll say, I'm 100% committed to the Bulls. But do you think that he may have some backdoor discussions with Kentucky to see if that could be something that he might want to do?
Well, I think you got to look at all options. He signed an extension a couple of years ago, and the front office loves Billy, so, but as a coach, you got to look at all options, what the situation is. What am I going to? Me personally, that's a tough job to go into because the fact that
the fans are crazy down
there. They're livid. And so they want to win now. Calipari couldn't win with NBA caliber players.
Right.
Okay. And one of the reasons I said he couldn't win is because he focuses too much on freshmen. At this day and age, you got to have some 29-year-olds, seriously, because these kids are going up, 18-year-old kids are going up against 26, 27-year-olds now with these 5-6 year COVID plans. So they're playing against grown men. Okay. So you better go add a couple of those guys on your team. You better go out and go get you. And I'm talking about not just get any guy, go get you some guys who can actually play. They can come out there and contribute and get you 18 points a game and take some pressure off those younger kids. Because you're rolling 5 guys out there. And then another problem Kentucky has, he tries to play everybody the same amount of minutes.
Yeah.
Because he's made all these promises to these kids that you're going to play, you're going to play, you're going to play. So he gets 10 guys and they're getting like 12 minutes a night each. And so everybody can't play the same amount of minutes because, Mark, as you know, there's going to be players better than other players. You can't play. If I'm better than this guy, like the kid Rob Dillingham, who's going to be a lottery pick, going to be a top 5, top 10 pick, he's coming off the bench. And he asked Calipari, like, I'm way better than these kids. Why are you giving me on the bench? And basically told him, you got to learn how to play through adversity. It's going to make you a better player as a pro. Come on, man. Like, if I'm better than this dude and you're not playing me over him, we got a problem.
Well, in the last 3 years, they've lost to St. Peter's and Oakland in the first round of the tournament. So that's one of the reasons why John Calipari was looking to get out of there and go to Arkansas where there'd be no pressure on him.
Before they fired him.
Right.
Well, Oakland had that 40-year-old, though.
What's that?
Oakland had that 40-year-old.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. That's why they won. That's why they won. These guys, it used to be the Butlers. Every so often you see Butler, mid-major, come in. Now, with the transfer portal, and they're not recruiting freshmen anymore. Most colleges are not recruiting freshmen. This is the modern day, what they used to do in the 80s and 90s when they got junior college players. They go get junior college players who got 2 years of eligibility left. They come in. They're ready to play, like Larry Johnson. We had Harvey Grant, Mookie Blaylock, Ricky Grace off Oklahoma's team. Those guys came from JUCO. They came ready to play from day one. So Tubbs never had to wait. Tarkanian never had to wait for freshmen because he had older guys ready to go.
Getting back to the Bulls, the one bright spot from the past week, the biggest bright spot has been the play of Javonte Green. And Javonte is going to be joining us on the show in just a few minutes. He had 25 points, 13 rebounds, both career highs, and he had a couple of unbelievable dunks that reverse. Yes. Even his teammates jumped off the bench. I mean, that's when you know you've done something special when other NBA players react like that.
Well, if you really think about this, we haven't had a lot of dunks this year. Like we're one of the teams with the lowest amount of dunks. I think he had more dunks in his little time here than we've had in like a month. So it was great seeing him because I always felt like he should have still been on this team. Because the guys like that on a winning team help you win games. The little things that they do. They can, like for instance, if you got a 10-day contract, most 10-day contract guys have to wait 10 days before they even get a chance to get in the game. They're there basically to practice and warm guys up. They were able to get Javonte. He was able to walk in from the first day he was here and contribute because he's been in their system for 3 years, and it was easy to transition for him. And the one thing he brings every single night, he's going to play bigger than he actually is, and he's going to give you highlight plays, whether it's offensively or defensively.
Yeah, he was outstanding. Obviously, the Bulls missed Alex Caruso in the game against the Magic. You can tell when he's not out there, something's missing.
Well, and then Torrey Craig is not 100%. His knee is bothering him, so that's one of the reasons why. I think Javonte's even bypassed him. The Bulls have got some solid defensive players. But you need other guys to help out and play defense too, especially late in the season. You're playing for a play-in game. There's no excuses having 23 turnovers in a game, leading to 30 points for Orlando, because that basically was the game right there. If the Bulls have half those turnovers, the game's a totally different game. But, you gave a lot of runouts. And Orlando, for whatever reason, gets up to play the Bulls. Like, they were playing so hard last night. Like, they thought it was a playoff game.
Yeah, they swept them in the season series, which hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time. I never saw. I mean, it's been a while. Shaq, maybe Dwight Howard days. I don't know. Shaq days. I don't know when they've been swept.
Yeah, and you saw Wendell after he made that three-pointer late. I mean, he loves to celebrate when he does something good against his form. He's got his best average against any team is against the Bulls.
Well, I mean, that's what it's always like, though, for anybody who got traded and didn't want to leave, feel like they were forced out. You want to show the people that came in and traded you that, hey, this is what you could have had. So when you look at the record since the trade, they had the record there yesterday. I think it was like that team is 8-3 or 8-4 since we made a trade with Vooch and Wendell Carter Jr. Orlando's record is like 8-4, which is amazing because then people say, well, who got the better end of the trade? Well, stats don't lie,
Right.
The record don't lie, So that would be you would base that off of that. I mean, if the Bulls were 10-0, we got the best deal. We went deep in the playoffs, but they're boasting they got the better end of the deal because they got younger talent and to go along with young talent, and then their record speaks for itself.
Well, the Bulls are locked into play in the play-in game, which will come up on April 17th, which is a Wednesday. That'll be a nationally televised game, so you won't be able to get Adam and Stacey on that one. But, Trae Young is back at practice, full contact. He had his medical exam where he was cleared for contact, so he'll be playing in that game. Although he hasn't really done well against the Bulls. It seems like Io always gets up and shuts Trae Young down.
Well, yeah, he does. He plays hard, but it's going to be a different game when you're talking about playoffs. The mindset is totally different. Atlanta, when we saw them, less than a week ago, they had playoffs in their mind. You could just tell. They were quick to the ball. Their defense, they're a totally different defensive team when he was out. They went from being 30th in the league in defense to like top 12, and that's a huge jump from 30 to 12. So they're playing much better. That Jalen Johnson kid is a stud. He's a big time player for them. Probably him and Kobe probably won't get most improved player. Maxey had, I think, 52 last night. And Philadelphia has been nothing but winning since Embiid's out. And again, the Bulls and Atlanta, 9 and 10 are going to be playing a Miami team 7. Jimmy doesn't show up till game 66, which is the playoff time. So he's going to be ready to play. And then you got Embiid, who's missed half the season. They were the number 2 team before he went out.
Yeah.
People forget that. Then they went down, they lost some games. They went and traded for Buddy Hield, get some more pieces in there. Those other guys got a chance to develop and play. Their bigs got a chance to play and develop a little bit. So now Embiid's back. I think they're like 4 or 5-0 since he's
they haven't lost. I think it's going to be Philly and Boston.
Yeah.
Conference finals.
So Philly, Boston's not afraid of anybody. They're not afraid. They're not afraid to play Philadelphia. They're not afraid to play anybody in the Eastern Conference. That's one thing I will say about that. But I think Milwaukee is. I think Milwaukee doesn't want to play. They don't want no smoke from Miami, and they don't want no smoke from Philadelphia.
But you can't avoid everybody. You got to play somebody.
No, you got to show up. You're going to have to play them in the second round anyway. So,
that whole thing.
But nobody wants to go out in the first round to a 7 seed.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Nobody wants to go out in that first round to a number 8 or 7 seed.
Hey, D, did Cisco make this graphic? It looks like some kind of board game.
Oh, it's like, it's tiny.
If you're watching it on YouTube.
It's from ESPN.
Oh, okay. So
I mean, you can't make heads or tails of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, ESPN made it.
All right.
Okay, we need to make our own because I feel like 3 blind mice.
If you're watching on YouTube, maybe you got your retinas burned out by looking at the eclipse today because that don't make no sense to anybody.
No, I can't read how it goes. But I will say this. I will say this. Like the Knicks, now that you know that Julius Randle's not going to be playing. As much as they played better without Julius Randle, they're going to need him when it gets to the second and possibly trying to get past the second round because you need his scoring. Regardless of how he's played with those guys, and he's a ball stopper, whatever. Julius Randle still is a big time player, and he can get you 30 points, he can get you rebounds, and they're going to miss that when it comes to playoff time when they have to go in that second round game because I think they'll get through the first round. I don't know where are they at right now, 5?
Yeah, they play Cleveland. The season ended today,
and I think they can beat Cleveland. Cleveland's struggling right now because Donovan's out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I was watching. I mentioned watching the Knicks Bucks last night, and Jalen Brunson. We had him on the show.
Yep.
Great kid, local guy, Stevenson High School, won a state championship and all that. But when he came into the league, he was a second round draft pick. People thought, he's a good backup guard. He doesn't really have the offensive skills. He looked like James Harden in his Houston days.
Yeah.
I mean, he backs people down. He's so powerfully built. He can back guards down, score over the top of them. And if you leave him at the 3-point line, he'll kill you there. He's become such a great scorer.
His dribble's tight. Listen, there's something to be said when scouts don't really pay attention. Okay? There's something to be said when a kid wins a state championship in high school and then goes win 2 championships at a big time university. Okay? Guard university where guards have played there. And then you draft in the second round. They say, okay, draft in the second round. Maybe he's too slow. Maybe he's, they look at him and his body's not like, he's a little chunky, boom, boom. And then you play him and then he becomes your second best player with Luka. And then Luka goes out with injury, and if you don't have him, you don't advance against Utah. He got them to the Utah series, and if he's not there, and you can tell they have not been the same. Now they got Kyrie though, but there was that year that he went and signed that free agent deal with New York. You could tell, like, boy, they wish they had him, because they went with Spencer Dinwiddie. They had a bunch of guys come in. They never were able to replicate what they had with Brunson. Now you got Kyrie. He's playing much better.
He's playing really well
They
right now.
learned how they've kind of learned how to play with one another now. They got a really good team. I mean,
they're dangerous in the West.
Yes.
After adding P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford,
yes,
they could make some
They
noise.
got Lively. You know, they got a lot of surplus of bigs that they can throw at, you know, at Jokic or anybody they play against. Luka is the wild card. You know, Luka can go out there and get you 60.
Or get thrown out with 2 technicals in the first quarter.
Well, it's right. Huh?
Okay. Oh, we're not going to keep him.
No, we're not going to keep him. No.
We'll talk about Luka another day. But
Luka, he lives on the second floor.
We're going to take a quick break. But at first, we're going to tell you about our great friend Jeff Vukovich when it comes to being treated like royalty. Make sure to connect with our buddy. That's nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. He can take care of all your auto, home, and business needs. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. Phone number 847-825-4783.
Oh, man.
Oh, and D Choke trying to get the graphic up. There's our friend, Jeff Vukovich.
All right.
Handsome man. He's got the best jingle in the business. Stacey's going to serenade us.
Nationwide is on your side.
Nicely done, Javonte Green. Coming up next on Gimme the Hot Sauce. It is now our pleasure to welcome back to the show and welcome back to Chicago, Javonte Green, kind enough to make some time for us as the Bulls get ready for the rematch against the New York Knicks coming up on Tuesday night. Javonte, thanks for joining the show. This must be like a whirlwind for you. Just a few weeks ago, you're playing in the G League, and now you're doing great things with the Bulls. What have the past 2 weeks been like for you?
Oh, man, it's been a long 2 weeks, you know, just coming from the G League and then getting that call from the getting a 10-day with the Bulls, and then, you know, just getting the rest of the end of the season deal. You know, it's just been a lot of emotions. On top of that, you know, I welcome my son into this world on the first. That's probably that's the reason why I missed the game against the Hawks. I mean, yeah, it's been a very emotional 2 weeks. But, you know, I'm here and I'm glad and I'm blessed.
So, Javonte, did you ever at any point, because I know you had the knee surgery, and once you got your knee to where it was, did you ever have any doubt that you'd get back into the league, or did you ever think about maybe going overseas to finish out the year and then coming back and restart next season?
Yeah, a bunch of opportunities came and a bunch of thoughts came across my head. You know, just like around that time that you see all these other guys like signing 10 days. You know, getting all these calls, and then teams still wondering if I'm back to myself. You know, it's a bunch of stuff. You know, I got offered to go back overseas, but you know, like I said, like I was about to welcome my son into this world, so it's a bunch of things that I had to think about. So I was just before I got the 10-day, I was just, you know, my mind was focused on just finish the season out with Santa Cruz. And when I got the 10-day, you know, it was you know, my son, he was born here, so it was like a win-win opportunity for me. You know, just sign a 10-day, then watch my son be born and all that. So it's just a good thing. Perfect timing, I can say.
Well, there's nothing better than welcoming a child into the world. So congratulations on that. We're very happy for you. You know, going back to last season, you know, Bulls fans knew that you had suffered an injury and you know, you had to miss the end of the season, but no one knew the extent of the injury. Were you surprised that things were as serious as they were and that you eventually had to have a surgery? I mean, did things kind of become more serious than you originally thought they were going to be?
Yeah, because I mean, everybody, you know, we get the news. Javonte Green had to have this microsurgery. He's going to miss 2 to 4 weeks, and then the 2 to 4 weeks turn to almost 2 months before I could touch the court again. And then on top of that, you know, not just I was never myself last year, you know, and you know, it took a lot of patience this year for me to just come out and just be oh shit, just be focused on the little things that I had to do, and just to get my knee back right. And the Golden State training staff was very patient with me, and they taught me that patience is key. And I feel like that's the reason I'm here now, and that's the reason why I'm back to my full self.
Talk a little bit about that. So you got a chance with being with Santa Cruz in the G League. You got a chance to work with the Golden State trainers, and they're considered some of the best in the NBA. So talk a little bit about that and how fortunate were you were to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was mind blowing from like just from the approach they took from the first day I even, step foot into their office. They had they had this game plan for me. They wrote it out for me. They explained it to the T, and then we followed the game plan. We didn't go out of the game plan, no matter how like good I felt with everything. They just was very cautious of like the timeline of things and how to just like they wrote the game plan out. We followed every step, so we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves, no matter how like I said, how good I felt and anything like that. And like you said, I feel like they are one of the best in the business. Just on that aspect. They're not going to like try to rush you out there to just get back and play. They really care about like your future, not just like they don't care about really right now. Of course, they want to see you play, want to see you succeed, but they knew the timing of the things, my injury, the extent of my injury, and like they knew what it take to get me back. And on the top of that, it was not like it was not like set in stone, like everything that they had in plan was going to work. So that's why I feel like everything was so like so patient and so in tune to everything we was doing.
Well, obviously, the Bulls coaches are very familiar with your game from you being here the last couple of seasons. And, a lot of times when a guy signs a 10-day contract, he doesn't get a real opportunity to get into the rotation. But with Patrick Williams being out and the rookie Julian Phillips being hurt, their power forward position is very thin right now. And you got a chance to play right away. How gratifying has that been that Billy and his staff have shown that confidence in you?
Oh man, it's been a great feeling. Even like I think it was the first two games I didn't play, but I mean, obviously we have that relationship where Billy can come up to me and talk to me about anything. Um, he just told me to be ready, and I told him, I was like, yeah, you already know I'm gonna be ready regardless. I was just thinking about the path it took for me to get back into the position I am now. Obviously they wasn't there like to see my progression from September to now. So I just feel like they in the back of their mind you know, they still got the image of last year, how like how I felt last year and how like my knee was reacting last year. So I just felt like that was a reason why. But it's like just shout out to them for just throwing me in there and and just for me going out there to perform the best way I know how.
Well, one of the things we see on TV when we lack energy, I said from the very get go, throw Javonte out there because you know what you're going to get out of him every single time he steps on the floor. No matter if he's guarding a 4 or 5, a point guard, 2 guard, he's going to bring the energy. He's going to do something exciting on defense. He's going to do something exciting, on the court and on the offensive end. And what we've seen so far, what me and Adam have seen on television and watching the games up close with you is the confidence. Like you letting threes go now. Like you're not hesitating. If it's there, I'm open. I'm taking the shot. And then if I got to put the
Mhm.
ball on the floor, I got my explosive ability back. That reverse dunk you threw the other night. I mean, we hadn't had that many dunks in probably two weeks. So it was good seeing somebody bring back a shot, slam a jammer, baby. I haven't got to say that in like months.
No, I just felt good to play in front of the Chicago crowd again as well. Obviously, you know, um, even when I first checked in, I say the first game I played, just feeling the energy and the love that the crowd gave. So I just felt like I had to give it back to them, and obviously that's my style of play, and that's what got me here. So I just feel like that's what I'm gonna have to do to stay.
Yep. Yep.
How about the reaction from your teammates, especially after that reverse dunk? One of your teammates got a technical foul for overreacting on the bench. I mean, that's crazy. I mean,
Drummond.
yeah. After the game, DeRozan said that's exactly what we needed. The energy that Wu brings to the team. I mean, to have your teammates show that kind of love for it, that's got to be special.
Yeah, I mean, even when they came to, when they beat the Warriors in Golden State, I was there. I was watching from the tunnel. And, I walked in the locker room after the game. Just kicked it with the guys and talked to them. I mean, it just felt like the love was there. And I mean, I just feel like it's right now just be on the same side again. It's extended of love that they've been showing the whole time.
When you were in Santa Cruz and you were watching the Bulls struggle out the gate, they started off really slow, and then they kind of turned it on after they had a couple of injuries. We lost Zach, we lost Patrick Williams, we had guys out the lineup. Was there any thought in your mind like, hey, because if a 10-day comes my way, I feel like I can help this team. I feel like I can bring something that they're missing.
To be honest, yeah, but at the same time, I feel like the more reason that I accepted the 10-day was to be here for my son. Even though I was on my way to Chicago, anyways, probably like 2 days later before I signed the 10-day. But like I said, I felt like it was a win-win. Just to come out here and just just get thrown out there and just excel like I am. That's just a testament of a person of my hard work that I've been doing, and the focus that I've been had. If I could put all of that to the side, for the bigger picture, and and then that just turned out, and I can be around a little bit longer for my son, not just being like I got to go back to Santa Cruz and things like that, and just I just feel like everything was happening for a reason, and like me coming here, and I obviously, like I said, I was on my way back, and just getting a 10-day, and then after the 10-day, after the games I've been playing, other teams calling, and then just waiting it out for the Bulls, just for the better sake of I know the team, I know the organization, and on top of that, just be around a little longer rather than son 3 days old and I have to get up and get on the plane and go somewhere else.
Hey, Javonte, I didn't realize with your absence being gone, how many hearts you broke when you came
Yeah.
back. The big lady fan base was like, Javonte's back, Javonte's back. Did you get some shout outs when you're out on the floor? I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but including
Who
my
let
niece.
this guy on the mic over here? Oh my God. This man just had a
true,
baby.
though.
Come on, man.
Hey, I'm just saying, it doesn't
no,
mean he's not, the Javonte, the good looking Wolverine out here. I mean, that's the way it goes.
No, I'm focused on one thing now, right now, and that's just
Yeah, I know. But
win games.
but you get a little extra fan base out there, which is always fun.
Yeah,
Including my niece.
I appreciate all the fans.
Oh, you're a fan favorite. I mean, that was one of the things. Like I've said all year long, is like this team has missed that person to come off. Crusoe's always been that guy. But unfortunately, with Crusoe, like he plays so hard. He puts himself in harm's risk a lot of times. He's diving on the floor. We had a graphic up last night of all the injuries that he's had. I gave him the nickname Crash Bandicoot because he's always, he had a knee, elbow, back, neck, wrist, toe. He's been hurt all year long, but he always comes back and plays. And we just were missing someone else to come in and play with that kind of energy. And when I saw you come back, I was so happy because I was like, about time they went to go get this kid. He should have been here from the get-go because he was one of my favorite players. So I'm glad you're back. I know the fans in Chicago are glad you're back.
Yeah, it's glad. I'm glad to be back, honestly. If you would have asked me that about 6 months ago, I probably would have told you something different. But
Yeah.
I'm here now, and we're on the same team. So I'm just appreciative to be here and just to showcase my talent and my work ethic. What it took for me to get here. So I'm just blessed to be in this position.
And now you're on the playoff roster now, so
Right.
so you're able to get into the playoffs now and play.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Win some more games.
Yeah, we got to win some more games starting tomorrow against the Knicks.
Yeah. They're going to come in there hungry after what we did to them the other day. So.
And they beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee. And so
they did.
They're licking their chops to get back at us tomorrow night. So what's the game plan? What are you guys talking about doing differently with them? You guys took away the 3-ball the last time you guys played. And then, Brunson kind of got inside a little bit, got to the paint. So what's the game plan tomorrow?
As obviously the head of the snake, Jalen Brunson, just trying to contain him. He's an all-star, a credible player. just try to contain him. We know we're not going to stop him all the way down. Just going to try to contain like his go-to moves. You know, he like to go left. You know, he like to hostage dribble. He like to cut you off. Like to jump it to you, draw fouls. They like to pump fake and pivot. So we just know the little things that we have to do. But on top of that, just shutting down their role players. You know, they like to get up a lot of threes. Or DiVincenzo, McBride, and Josh Hart. You know, like he's a hell of a player. You know, they was missing him last game. You know, I think he was coming off like a career high night the night before. So I just feel like we contain like the role players and not let DiVincenzo get like 5, 6 threes. You know, limit him to 1 or 2 or things like that. That's I don't know. We just have to figure it out for real because you know they're gonna make some adjustments as well.
Stacey mentioned all the injuries the Bulls have suffered this year, so it's a bit of a different team than the one that you've been with the last couple of years. Obviously, Zach is out, so that's one of your primary scorers that's not going to play. You guys already know that you're going to be in that 9-10 play-in matchup against the Atlanta Hawks, which is coming up.
Yeah.
Trae Young is supposed to return after missing the last 6 weeks with a broken finger. He should be ready to go for that game. You missed the game with the birth of your son that was in Chicago recently. What is your impressions of Atlanta? And I guess more importantly, what do you think is the attitude of the guys? Do you sense that there's still some confidence you guys can get some things done this year?
Yeah, I mean, I was telling KC after the New York game, I just feel like every game from now on is a playoff game. You know, and we have to treat it as one. You know, so I feel like that can be a good thing for us because we know we have to win every game, and you know, in the playoffs, you know, it's the same thing. You have to try to win every game. If you can't win every game, you know, you got to win 4 out of 7. And, you know, in the play-in, and especially in our predicament, like we have to win out. Like we can't afford. We're not in a 7 8 seed that we can afford to lose one and then play again. So we know we got every game right now to get into the playoffs is a must win.
Last night you got to start. You know, you got to start against the Orlando Magic. You had to guard Caro. Tell a little bit about that matchup because I always say that you can guard anybody on the floor. And I thought last night that team has a lot of length, man. That's a big freaking team, bigger than what
Yeah.
bigger than what I remembered. So talk about that matchup because they seem like they always get up to play the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, even when when I was, in the rotation 2 years ago, even when I think Jalen Suggs rookie year, it always been a battle. But Caro and Mosley, he got them guys doing the right thing. Playing the right way and playing to their strength, which is live on the defensive end and trying to clog the paint and forcing teams to, play on the perimeter and make shots and make tough shots because, they're so long. Like you would think they're in a gap, then you kick it, and then they're right there closing out to you as well. So they're a tough matchup. I think their starting 5 is nobody's under 6'4", 6'5".
Yep.
I just feel like that's a tough matchup for any team in the NBA.
Javonte, you hoping that you'll be able to make Chicago your long-term home, that the front office will come in and try to offer you a deal to stay here?
Yeah, I've been here, I guess you could say 4 years now. Uh, 4 years and, 2 half a years. I just feel like, yeah, I know the city well. I know the spots well, my favorite places to eat, things like that. And I just got a lot of friends in the community, a lot of friends in the organization, and I just feel like Chicago is a second home for me. So to get a long time deal, it'll be a great accomplishment for me, especially coming from where my journey,
Yeah.
and just trying to make it to the NBA, and then getting non-guaranteed my first year, and then just going from there, and to get like a long-term deal is like, you just try to keep climbing that ladder. And I just feel like that'll be a great accomplishment for me.
And speaking of your favorite places to eat, let's talk about some of your favorite things to put on the food that you like to eat. Now you were one of our first guys that we gave the hot sauce to.
That's right.
And so now that you're a friend of the program because it's the second time you've been on my show, tell the audience what your interpretation and how you felt about the hot sauce that I gave you. What was your taste test?
No, all of them was great. Even I have like I said, I have friends around the city. Every time I have like a get together at the house. You know, we bring out the Stacey King, give me the hot sauce. We got all the flavors. But my best friend, she likes the I'm not sure the name of it, but she likes the green one. But she loves
Verde.
tacos. Yeah, she likes the salsa verde. She loves tacos and she loves to throw that on there.
Well, Javonte, you were the first guy that didn't wince at all when we gave you the Carolina Reaper, the 1871 at the practice.
Yeah.
And the chip.
Yeah.
I was watching your eyes, and you're like, "Yeah, this is fine." I'm like, "Damn, man, this guy's tough."
And it's so crazy because probably like I say 3 years ago, you couldn't pay me to put nothing spicy on my food other than because where I'm from, we like Texas Peak hot sauce, and that's not really like a hot sauce. But you couldn't pay me to put nothing spicy on my food. And now being in Chicago, you got me asking for jalapenos and asking for hot sauce and stuff like that. So I just feel like that's I feel like that came with the culture.
Well, I'm going to bring you some bottles tomorrow at the game. I'll bring you some green so you can give to your friend and you can have some too. Because, you know, friend of the program, I'm not going to make you pay for it. He's my boy.
I appreciate that.
And you coming on my show, and I appreciate you because I know right now you should be watching the NCAA tournament like we all should. So we're not going to keep you any longer.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up for you.
And I will see you tomorrow at the game. Keep hooping, man. I'm so happy for you. You have brought something that this team definitely needs. And hopefully that, they appreciate it and they see it and they offer you a long-term deal.
I appreciate everything, Stacey. My whole family loves you. What's his name? What's his name? Say it's Javonte out there. What's his name? I was like, yeah, that's a living legend. Y'all think about him as just saying Javonte. Y'all better check his back record. He going for days. His resume longest mine. Longer than mine.
Well, tell him I appreciate that. And, tell your family you're one of my favorites. So I'm glad to see you back, bro.
Yeah, appreciate everything.
Javonte Green, our special guest. You'll be seeing 5 Javontes out there tomorrow night when the Bulls host the New York Knicks again. Coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit about Caitlin Clark and the women's tournament, and then we'll wrap things up on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Well, we couldn't get a better endorsement for Stacey's hot sauce than what Javonte just gave us, but Whispers, tell the folks how they can get bottles of their own.
They can get right online and order some today. That's what they should do. And they can still use some codes. There's free shipping. All the flavors are available. Get it out tomorrow. Actually, some people took advantage of it last week.
Good.
I was real proud.
GimmeTheHotSauce.com.
That's right. I mean, if Chris was here, he'd be talking about Hofstra University not making the tournament again. But
they suck.
Well, that's where he went.
Yeah, well, they suck.
Sorry, Chris. It's going to be a long time before they're back.
It's going to be a long time. But you'll get there. You'll get there in lacrosse before you get there in basketball, buddy.
And Tim found out that you can use, I don't know if it's the Jewel app to get alcohol and Stacey's hot sauce, right?
That's right.
Because he finally did something right today and ordered some alcohol for us.
Yeah, but I'd still screw that up. We got the Modelitos, little 7-ounces. I was like, no wonder. It might seem like
and they're warm, too. Other than that, though, you didn't find
right.
Piss. Oh,
just put it on ice.
Come on, man.
All right, the game's almost ready to start. In case you haven't figured it out by now, we're taping on a Monday night, which is a little bit unusual, but that'll probably be our standard during the summer.
Yeah. And then we're getting ready to go out of town after tomorrow's game, so we'll be out for probably about 4 days. So we got Washington, we got, Detroit, and we got New York. In New York, the last game. So we're going to end up on the road.
So once we get the season over with, we'll get you a regular schedule when we're going to be doing our YouTube shows. And then, of course, it's always available on demand the very next day. Before we get out of here, Caitlin Clark. South Carolina wins. They were the better team. But I think Caitlin Clark had 18 points in the first quarter, ended up with 30. She couldn't carry that Iowa team all the way to the title, but she was pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think when you got in there against South Carolina, you ran up against a buzzsaw because they could rotate 4 or 5 people at her. They were all athletic. They could all move their feet. The guard that was stealing the ball from her, man. I mean, I saw some of the highlights. I mean, she's got her hand in her face. She's not letting her see vision. As soon as she put the ball down, she's attacking the dribble. And I think what you saw is what you're going to kind of see at the WNBA level. Because, at most games, she has an advantage with quickness on people. And last night, she didn't have that advantage with quickness against South Carolina. And so when you look at the WNBA, she's going to probably be the number 1 pick. And, you heard Diana Taurasi make the comment.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. She was
hater.
salty, wasn't she?
Little haters out there. Little hater. But listen, those girls were all world when they were in college too, okay? And she does have a point because You know, I when I came out of college, you know, I was the man. And as soon as you get into an NBA game, you got guys that's trying to, you know, like, hey, I don't care who you are, I don't care what pick you are. They're trying to humble you right off the start. So it happens in every sport. So she's gonna have to go through because Indiana's not good anyway. They're gonna have to build a team around her for that team because they're not very good. It used to be very good back in the day, but
Yeah, when they had Tamika
yeah,
Catchings.
Catchings, and they had some other girls on that team that were really good, but they're going to struggle for a few years, and so she's going to have to go against. And there's some really good guards in the WNBA. And if I'm her, I keep saying this, Mark. I stayed one more year. I got one more year of eligibility. Let me go ahead and make that $5 million because I'm gonna make more in 1 year than I'm gonna make probably in 5 or 6 in the WNBA.
She keeps picking up more endorsements. I saw her doing an Xfinity ad. I mean, these are national campaigns. She's making big money on those.
She's making huge money, and you know, go back and set more records where they'll never be broken because her scoring records. The only person I could see it is probably Juju Watkins from USC. The way she scores, I could see her being close to breaking her record now that she's not going to go back for the 5th year because Juju Watkins can play. Juju Watkins looks like she looks the real deal. And I don't know how far they're going to be USC. They got to build around her as well. But they got the Elite Eight, I think, this year, and they lost to UConn for the trip to the Final Four. UConn's going to be back again next year. Paige Breakers is a stud. And they just – that Caitlin Clark, though, I give Dawn Staley credit, you know, because she in her little conference or press conference after the game, she said that how, you know, she elevated the women's game. More people watched the game because of her.
Yeah, did you see that? It was I forget the exact number, but it was a record for any game.
Yeah.
College, pro, NBA
Yeah.
since like 2019.
Yeah.
The audience they got for the title game.
And so that and then the game before that was UConn. So those two games, that semifinal and final game, had the most people watching ever. So that's impressive.
Excited to watch your alma mater tonight?
Oh, UConn?
Yeah,
we're trying to go for our back-to-back titles, America. You know, listen, you know, if Purdue wins, I went there too. Just saying that, right? Throw that out there. I don't think
it's the transfer portal era. Stacey's been everywhere.
I don't really think it's going to be a good game. I'm interested to see the bigs because this game has been the NBA game and the college game has been so much based on guard play and shooting threes. And it's great to see two big guys. The kid Burns from North Carolina State, to finally see some low post play, you know. And so it's going to be a good game to see Edie go up against the Klingon in the post. And I'm looking forward to seeing that because that's going to determine that outcome, and that particular battle is going to really determine who's going to go first in the draft or who's going to be a top 5 pick out of those two guys.
And you mentioned it's like a throwback. It's like Ewing going against Elijah Wan. You know, battle in the middle.
Because Klingon, I'm telling you, Klingon is athletic. Like he can run, jump. He covers a lot of ground, rim protection, which that's what teams want. Teams want bigs that not so much it's great to shoot threes, but they want bigs that can cover a lot of ground, that can switch out on pick and rolls between the 1 and 5. He's shown that he can do that at the college level. He can do that at the college level. He's going to do it at the pro level. That's going to really transfer over to the next level. Now, Edie doesn't move his feet very well. He's not going to be in a situation where he's going to switch. He might be in drop zones all the time, but he's got to be a better rim protector as well because I don't really think he's a really good rim protector right now at the college level.
Before we get out of here, it's our weekly staple. Some tips on what we're watching. Whispers, did you see the series finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm last night?
No, I have not.
Oh,
is that it too?
You're gonna love it. Yeah, it's done. That was the last show. And the thing that was great, I'm not going to spoil it because you know people have taped it and want to watch and stuff. But you know they basically did the Seinfeld finale, but just with a total twist. So it's hilarious from start to finish. JB Smoove has some of the funniest lines in there I've ever heard. It's just fantastic. So if you get a chance, even if you should start watching the series from season 1 if you haven't seen it at all. But the finale, they wrapped it up perfectly. So many series you see, you know, the last episode you're going man, how could they end it like that? But this left you laughing all the way out. So that's a hearty recommendation for Curb.
Yes.
I really didn't watch anything. Just another episode of Shogun. And
now you're Mark. That's what Mark was last week.
Yeah.
Mark, what are you watching? I didn't watch it.
I know. I watched
basketball. Yeah.
And that was about it. So,
okay. Well,
no updates.
Okay. Shut up. Anyway, you don't have nothing to add to this segment. Then be quiet. Okay.
Just make sure the beer is cold.
Make sure the beer is cold and the cider.
I'll watch you guys drink some beer.
So my show I watched The Godfather of Harlem. and it's a. If you ever seen The American Gangster with Russell
yeah,
Crowe,
yeah.
okay, it's all tied into this. Okay, in The American Gangster, Denzel Washington was this guy's driver, which is what's his name? Whitaker.
Yeah.
So
Forrest Whitaker.
He's Forrest Whitaker. So he's Bumpy Johnson. So in American Gangster, Denzel was his driver and took care of him and helped him for like 20 plus years. But this particular show is he's going up against before the five families formed in New York. He's the king of Harlem. So he runs all of Harlem. Nothing goes through Harlem. The Italians are scared of him. They don't want war with him. And it shows the interactions between him and the power struggle between the Italians that they had to form the five families. They had to, locate one guy who's going to rule the commission. And it shows all that stuff. It's a really, really Malcolm X is in it. It's a really, really good written show.
So check that out. Obviously, we're getting ready to watch the
Yep.
NCAA title game. Hope you enjoyed that as well. We'll have a reaction to that. And what's going on with the Bulls, we'll know a little bit more about whether they're going. Well, next show, we'll know exactly when they're going to be playing, whether it's going to be in Atlanta or in Chicago. Hopefully, they get a couple of wins down the stretch. Make sure that first play-in game will be at the United Center. You want to tell the folks about Windy City Limo?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Let me get my little seat over here. Excuse me there, Tim.
Go ahead.
Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy. It's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact them at 847-916-9300, 847-916-9300, or go to windycitylimos.com and tell them nobody sent you, because you're not going to get a discount. I'm sorry, all right? I'm not going to lie to you. So I don't want to lie to you and say, hey, Stacey King gave me a discount code. They're going to hang the phone
You
up
can get
on
discounts on the sauce, not on
yes,
the
the sauce.
limo
Yeah,
ride.
you only get on the sauce, baby.
Hey, I keep saying before we get out of here, but we want to congratulate Doug Collins, who was
Yes.
elected to the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, or just the Basketball Hall of Fame, for his contributions not only as a player, a coach, a broadcaster. Very well deserved, and should have been done a long time ago.
Should have been done a long time ago. He's contributed so much to the game of basketball. It's surprising that this has taken so long. They let everybody in basketball though, but this is a guy who really well deserves to be there. He was not only one of the best college players during his time. He was on the Olympic team that got robbed at the last second by the Russians. They should have won that game, and then kept that. The Americans would have never lost. Okay. And then, he came as a player for the Philadelphia 76ers. And before he got his knee hurt, he was a monster.
He's averaging over 20 a game.
Yes, he was playing with Dr. J and Bobby
George
Jones
McGinnis.
and George McGinnis.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a big part of that team. And then he got hurt, and he was kind of never the same. And then, coaching, he was a stud. Listen, the Bulls don't win those rings if it wasn't for Doug Collins. He doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion, because, he wasn't there. He wasn't the coach on the bench when we won the titles. But he put the plan in motion. He set the culture of how it was going to be and turned this whole program around. And then right when it was getting ready to win a ring, they win 50 games, and it's like they're going in the right direction. And then he drafts me, BJ, Jeff Sanders, and I came up here on my visit to work out for him and talk to him, and he was the coolest dude. I remember going, he drove me to the airport. He said, I'm going to drive you to the airport, So I get in his car. He's got this gold Lexus coupe. Never forget it. It's a sweet, sweet thing. And it's a two-door. And we at that time, cars didn't have phones in them. But Doug had a phone in his car. He had a phone in his car. So the phone rings, and I'm like looking around like when is that ringing? He's like, oh, hold on, I got to take this call, Stacey. Take this call. Take it. We're driving like, take a call. Take a call. How? And then he hit the little button, and he's talking on the intercom. And I was like, this dude is cool.
Yeah, we're talking late 80s, folks. That was
late
not
80s.
the norm.
No, not now. Not now. And then if you did have one, it was expensive.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I got 91, when I got my car, I put one in, and first person I called was my mom. And after they told me how much it cost, so you ever see that commercial when they had I think it was AT&T, it's like, happy holidays from the Hendersons, and they hang up. That's what I was doing to my mom. Hey, Mom, how you doing? Guess where I'm at? Got a phone in my car. Click.
Gotta go.
Yeah, gotta go. Can't talk long. But he was talking on his. He was awesome. And then when I got home, when I flew home that night, I got home early because it was an early flight. And so I got home. It was probably like 7 o'clock. I got a phone call from Phil. And Phil's like, hey, this is Phil Jackson. I just want to say before it gets out tomorrow, Doug's been relieved of his duties, and I'm the new head coach of the Chicago Bulls. And I'm like,
The same guy you fought
The
during
same
your
guy I
workout.
got into a
Corzine.
fight with, Corzine. I'm thinking it's Corzine, and I'm like, this has to be the worst luck. He's gonna be the head coach, a guy that I was fighting with just a week earlier, and I'm like, oh man, but
not the way you want to start your pro
no.
career.
And then I will give Doug a lot of credit because I consider Doug the best analyst in basketball in general. Of all the analysts, him, Snapper Jones, I consider those guys that do my job. So if I had a Hall of Fame or Mount Rushmore, Doug would be on that Mount Rushmore. Snapper Jones would be on that. But he's one of the big reasons why I do what I do now, because I really love listening to him. I really love how he analyzes the game, and he's unbiased. He says what's on his mind, and he's just good at what he does. And he was a great coach.
Yeah, congratulations to Doug Collins. Very well-deserved honor. One more shot at Whispers before we go. He can't even get his TV to work. So we're sitting here waiting for the national championship game to go.
We're
got
watching
a blank screen.
Yeah, we got
he can't even get
we got
TBS
we got a 100-foot screen, and we can't watch nothing. We're watching it on our phone right now, America.
So you can send us text alerts on what's going on in the game, because Whispers probably will never get the TV to work.
Wow, I got to jump in.
We got warm beer and a blank screen.
I'm pretty sure it's our tech guy just screwed it up. I've watched the YouTube TV on here.
All right, we're out of here. Enjoy the championship game. We'll have reaction coming up on the next show.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Drive home safely, BB.
It's only preseason, but I'm hyped.